Every few months, I feel like I see another activist doing something stupid, like destroying a historical painting by throwing paint on it, or for some reason, a can of soup. And personally, it never really made any sense to me why you would piss people off and annoy them so you can promote your cause, and then try to get those same people on board. Because every time I see them do dumb shit, I just end up thinking, these people are incredibly annoying, and who do they think they are to dictate what's moral and right? So today we're looking at some of the dumbest activists and trying to figure out what the hell it is they're trying to do, and how completely illogical their methods are. So let's start with one of the most vile acts of protest that I've seen recently. So the context is that there's a group of Palestine activists that get a van and break into this facility that's like linked to Israel. So they break into the facility wearing these orange jumpsuits. I'm pretty sure I think they might be red. I'm kind of colorblind. And they start threatening the people inside with sledgehammers. Like, what the hell are you even meant to do in that situation if you're inside? There's no way you can fight against a bunch of people with sledgehammers. Like, one swing and you're pretty much gone. Or you get permanently injured. Personally, I would consider this the same as threatening someone with a gun. Actually, this would probably be worse since a gun would take you out, but this would just leave you with permanent injuries that are, like, insanely debilitating. So they're also smoking the area and destroying property, I guess.
Get the fuck out right now! I'll be back. I'm a little bit concussed. Oh, okay, then you definitely get it.
I think this guy that they're chasing just said that I'm concussed because they probably ran into him or something.
I'm leaving. Okay, leave that.
I'm bleeding. So the police come to arrest these people. And then they start swinging the sledgehammers at the police.
Right, you're under arrest, criminal damage, and a parade. Okay? Can you please get your...
So the cops get this crazy bitch on the ground, and then she has the audacity to request them to be, like, easy because it's hurting her when she's being arrested. Legally, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to arrest a crazy bitch. But she's legally allowed to break into a building and start using a sledgehammer to threaten people. Ow, you're fucking hitting me? Seriously? When she was threatening people with sledgehammers?
Get on the floor! Right. Can you just give me the face? Stop! Yes, you're
So it's fine when they do to other people, but when it's done to them, that's where they draw the line?
Get your fucking... Taser, taser! Come, we need more. We got 2 tasers. We can hit with hammers. Come. You're messing. Get your fucking...
And if you see right here,
Yes, you're messing.
so this police officer is arresting someone and another activist comes up behind her and hits her with a sledgehammer. See? Like, just right there. Smacks her with a sledgehammer.
Taser, taser!
These people are lucky they're using tasers on them and not real guns.
Come, we need more. We got 2 tasers. We can hit with hammers. Please, right. Shit.
So it's fine if they sledgehammer you, but you can't stop them. Okay, buddy. And the female sergeant that got hit by the sledgehammer ended up with a fracture to her lumbar spine, with severe pain in her back and legs. And she needed help with basic tasks like getting into the shower or in bed, and she can't drive or sleep. And an injury to the spine is pretty much one of the worst things that can happen to you. I'm pretty sure she's not paralyzed because it doesn't mention that anywhere, but it's pretty common when someone gets injured in the spine, they get paralyzed below that point. So the activists got arrested, and then that group began a hunger strike in protest because they're calling it systemic abuse, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. They break someone's spine with a sledgehammer and then they act like the victims. They get banned by the government and labeled a terrorist organization. Then hundreds of people start protesting in support of the damn group, and they start claiming the organization is peaceful. You can't say that when you have video evidence. We can see them committing violence. And here's what I think sums up their mentality perfectly. So this is what the female officer that got hit in the spine with a sledgehammer had to say during the thing. I said something like, You've just hit me with a sledgehammer. And he didn't recognize that at all. He just started telling me I'm complicit in genocide again. And this just goes to show you the mental state of these people. They see an issue in the world, and that's the only thing they can think about. Every single other thing does not matter at all. It's like they become blind to every single other thing. And they think that's the worst thing that's possibly happening in the world, and that they have to fix it. And because it's so evil, they're justified to do anything to stop it. Which ironically makes them take actions that are worse than the actual thing they're complaining about. Okay, next up we have Greta Thunberg. Remember her?
Greta Thunberg was banned from Venice after she took part in a protest that dyed the Grand Canal green. Here's what happened. Climate activist Greta Thunberg was banned from Venice for 48 hours and was fined $172.
They say like it's a huge thing, but she was only banned for 48 hours and it wasn't really a big fine either.
She reportedly joined environmental group Extinction Rebellion for a climate protest in the city. The group poured a non-toxic dye into the Grand Canal, turning it bright green, to highlight, quote, the massive effects of climate collapse.
It's so fascinating how they're always trying to bring awareness to an issue by making the issue worse. So they're trying to fight against pollution, and their idea to get attention for that is to pollute a place that is not known for polluting. Like, why are they doing it in Venice? If they really cared about pollution, shouldn't they be doing it in China or something? Or like, why aren't they protesting giant freight ships or cruises? Because apparently those are actually really bad for the environment.
They also hung a banner that said "Stop Ecocide" from the Rialto Bridge and had protesters in red veils walk through crowds. Veneto region.
Okay, that's just kind of weird. Like, imagine you're just having a vacation in Venice and you see these people walking past. It's kind of creepy, to be honest.
Governor Luca Zaia condemned the protest in a post on Instagram, writing, quote, vandalism doesn't protect the environment. These acts damage Venice, require restoration work, and, paradoxically, generate pollution. Along with Thunberg, dozens of other protesters were fined, according to reports.
Okay, personally, to be honest, I don't really think this is that big of a deal since the dye was non-toxic and it didn't last that long, and it's pretty much just an attention-gathering stunt. But it is annoying seeing these types of things happen all the time. I mean, sure, you get attention for the environment, right? But I don't think they're actually trying to solve anything. Like, why is it that you're doing this instead of actually trying to stop the people that are polluting? To be honest, it just seems like a bunch of virtue signaling. Because if they really wanted to protect the environment, then I don't really think that this is the best way to do it. Like, wouldn't they have a much bigger impact if they made like a documentary showing the damages of environmental pollution? Because right now they're just screaming the environment is dying and the planet's gonna go to hell. But I don't see what's happening. They're doing the thing of telling people rather than showing them. Also, to be honest, it just seems like they lack creativity. Let's see what people are saying about this. How is this gonna help the climate? Pay attention to me. Ironically enough, I think that they do crave attention. Because if you heard, she also went to Gaza before. And that didn't really end up doing anything other than getting her in the news. And before she was protesting something else, and now she's onto this. But it's not like she solved the previous issue, so why did she like move on? Leave the environment alone, proceeds to physically change the environment herself. Meanwhile in Chicago, why didn't she go to India? Exactly, why don't these people go to the places that are actually polluting? Not to say that India is the only place that's polluting, but just look at some of the rivers there, they're terrible. I mean, they kind of proved their point. The government is quick to punish climate activists doing something that isn't even harmful, but not corporations for literally poisoning our ecosystems. Pretty much 80,000 likes. So the thing with this is that I agree that the government should be doing something about this, but if you use this kind of logic for everything, that just means if you have a valid enough reason, you're pretty much justified to do anything. And to be honest, I think this is fine with non-harmful cases like this, but this type of thinking is what leads to people raiding buildings with sledgehammers. Also, how come these activists never talk about things like North Korea or the wars that are going on in Africa? If their goals are to reduce suffering and make the world a better place, then surely they should care about those places as well, right? Climate protesters throw tomato soup on Van Gogh sunflowers painting. Okay. It's kind of comical just chucking the soup, then spending like 20 seconds trying to get glue on their hands so they can stick themselves on the wall. Like, it goes on for an awfully long time.
What is worth more, art or life?
Okay, the thing with this is, right, their argument is really abstract. there's not really that much clarity in their message. They're chucking the tin of soup at the painting from Van Gogh, which is, to be honest, really disrespectful. Because I don't think that he would be the type of person that deserves this being done to his work.
Is it worth more than food? Worth more than justice?
What does that even mean? What is worth more, art or life? Worth more than food, more than justice? What does that mean? I don't get it. Like, sure, they're trying to bring up how art isn't as important as food, right? But this is not really the best way to do it. So if I care about art, and you do this to something that I like, why the hell would I listen to you? Why should I care about something that you think is more important than the thing I like? It's basically saying you're too snobbish for liking art when there's more important issues in the world.
Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people?
And what does throwing a can of soup at the painting do? How does that protect the planet and the people? Does getting the attention of the world by doing this actually help your cause? Because I don't think it does. I think people just see this and get pissed off at these activists for doing these dumb stunts.
The cost of living crisis is part of the cost of oil crisis.
You see how I was saying it was too abstract? First she starts, is art or life more important, more than justice, more than whatever? And then she tries linking the cost of living crisis with the oil crisis. Like, there's too many steps involved. It should be direct. This is bad because of this.
Fuel is unaffordable to millions of
So fuel is unaffordable to millions of coal-hungry families. Isn't oil the fuel that you're protesting against? So you want the fuel to be cheaper, but doesn't that damage the environment which you're protesting for? So you want fuel, but you want it to be cheap, and you want it to be environmentally friendly, which is the ultimate goal, right? But you cannot expect people to pay more for something like that when there's a cheaper alternative. You need to make the environmentally better option cheaper as well.
hungry families. They can't even afford to heat a tin of soup.
The same tin of soup that you just threw at the painting. If you really want to send a message, why would you throw away food, then complain that people can't afford the food? Like, wouldn't you want every single piece of food to be used by people so they aren't starving? Like, wouldn't it have made more sense to use red food coloring to imitate blood? Like, this cost of oil crisis is causing deaths. This doesn't really seem like a good strategy to win people over. Just look at the comments. What did Van Gogh ever do to you? They can't even afford to heat a tin of soup. You could have given them the soup, but you threw it onto a painting. They should get at least 5 years jail time for this. If I remember correctly, the main two girls actually got around 2 years of prison time for this. These idiots talk about families being hungry, yet they threw a can of food at a painting. When she said what is worth more, art or life, someone in the background said art. Really? Let's see.
What is worth more, art or life? Is it
Someone does shout at the back, but it's not really clear. And to be honest, that wasn't even really the worst thing they've done. The worst thing probably has to be them blocking people on the road, and one of the people actually needs to get their baby to the hospital, and they're refusing to move. Like, what a fucking dumbass, he's just standing there. Like, how fucking terrifying would it be in general if your baby had to go to the hospital? And then on the way, you're interrupted by these dumbasses. Like, she gets out of the car to explain to them, but they obviously don't even care. Like, that one guy seemed a bit confused, should I get off the road or should I not? But these people obviously don't care, they're just ignoring her. Like, at what point do you just run over these people? So she was yelling at this guy, right? Wouldn't he get the other people to move then, if he actually cared so much? And obviously everyone's pissed off at this. Makes my blood boil. Run them down. That is unforgivable, makes my blood boil. If my child was in the car and we needed to get to the hospital, they sure AF wouldn't stop me. We're all going to the ER now, my friends. I hope that child made it to the hospital and is okay. Like, even if their message of Just Stop Oil was good, when people see this happening, they lose any sympathy they could have had with the group. Because to be honest, something like Just Stop Oil and protect the environment is really abstract, but everybody understands that your child needs to get to the hospital and these people are blocking you. And for causing so much annoyance, you would think they would have more followers, right? But they're not even at 50,000 followers, so obviously, the things they do aren't really effective.
Greenpeace activists are putting themselves between the deep sea mining industry and the ocean. Mining the seafloor would have terrible impacts for marine life. The company that are using this ship, the Metals Company, are planning to destroy the oceans for profit. They really thought that they could get away with it, but not on our watch. That's why Greenpeace International have followed them out here to the middle of the Pacific Ocean and are showing them that no business is worth destroying a whole ecosystem for.
It's kind of funny how their brilliant plan is go out to the ocean, go right next to their boat, and hold up a tiny little banner. Like, what the hell is that meant to accomplish?
The Metals Company claim that we need minerals from the deep sea for the clean energy transition.
Okay, I know it's you shouldn't judge a book by its cover or that you should judge what a person says and not how they say it, but the way she says that previous sentence is so damn condescending.
Claim that we need minerals from the deep sea for the clean energy transition.
We need minerals from the deep sea. Bro, fuck off. Also, mining from the deep sea, in some cases, is better than mining on land. Because if you see mining on land isn't really that environmentally friendly either. So this seems like a better option.
That is total greenwash. This company is collecting data so they can put in the first ever application for deep sea mining. We're determined to stop deep sea mining before it starts. That's why we're here, and our message to the Metals Company is clear. You need to turn around and get out of the Pacific Ocean. Share this video and tag them to make sure they see this message.
And why the hell should they listen to you? The boat you're standing on is made out of plastics, which is made from oil. The helmet as well probably has metals in it, which are mined. The camera they're filming on is made from metals. Also, if they care about the ocean so much, why is this the only place they're protesting against? Why aren't they protesting against China and how they're depleting the oceans? Like, they say they care about marine life, right? But China literally holds in 15.2 million tons of marine life annually. Even if it's illegal to fish in the area, like for the Galapagos Islands, they just send a whole bunch of ships and their Chinese shipping fleet around the area, and then they conveniently turn off the tracking for a few hours so they can't be detected. Like in 2017, they were even found with 6,000 frozen shark carcasses. But the activists don't care about that. They're just worried about the potential damage that might happen. And they're just conveniently ignoring the actual damage that's happening right now.
Did you know that PETA has killed 41,539 animals, including a dog they stole off of someone's porch?
For an activist organization that's all behind, oh no, let's protect the animals, let's care for the animals, right? Why are they going around killing animals? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, now you do. PETA raised over $50 million last year, and according to their own numbers, they spent $20 million of that on rescue. How many adoptions did that $20 million fund last year? Just 29. That's about
What the hell are they doing? It just seems like they're pocketing the money. Also, where did the other $30 million go?
about $700,000 per successful adoption. Despite what they claim, PETA isn't some sort of a last chance sanctuary. They take whatever animals happen to be given to them, except in the case where they actively kidnap family pets, like they did in 2014 when they tried to coax a family dog off a porch. When the dog wouldn't come down on its own, PETA representatives trespassed and took the dog. They denied it, of course, and it was he said, she said, except the owner had it on film. Now, Virginia has a law requiring shelters to keep animals at least 5 days before putting them down, so that would have saved the dog. PETA, however, admitted to killing the dog within a few hours of taking it off the porch, and then PETA tried to settle the matter by giving the family a fruit basket.
What the fuck is wrong with PETA? They steal someone's dog and kill it. For what? For no reason? Actually, no reason is justified for that, to be honest. PETA is evil. Their mentality is that it's better the animal be dead than in captivity. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. If you want to help animals, don't donate to PETA. So if I see PETA near my house, I open fire. Got it. Also, the audacity to kill someone's pet, then give them a fruit basket as an apology. PETA co-founder dressed as a goat, screaming in pain from being sheared. This is so stupid. What the hell is... Dude, imagine just walking across the street and you see this. These people are literally mentally insane. Also, shearing sheep's wool actually helps the sheep, because if they don't shear the sheep, then the sheep overheats and dies. And literally nobody is buying this because everyone in the comments is saying stuff like, This is not what a Kashmir shearing looks like. I'm convinced that PETA is the stupidest organization to ever exist on this planet yet. Also, you might think that this is a pretty crazy thing to do, but I found another clip of this co-founder of PETA saying some really crazy stuff.
Is it true that you want your flesh to be barbecued when you die?
Absolutely. I'm going to have my legs cut off, and one of them I'm going to have made into an umbrella stand. The other leg I'm going to have broken. Now, luckily I'll be dead, won't feel it. Go to Kentucky Derby. I've got a little lizard tattoo, and I want it cut off and made into a purse.
Can I have the purse?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You can't have my liver, though, because that's going to the President of France because of foie gras, where they force-feed the ducks.
Heart?
Heart. A little bit of it's going to Elon Musk if he's still alive.
I don't think she's actually right in the head, to be honest. Is it just me, or does it look like she could be in a horror movie? Like Freddy, further proving that PETA is insane. Also, why has she thought of this stuff? And it's so specific as well.
Have you ever noticed that there's a type of person, and this is more common in women, in my opinion, but every single platform they stand for, not a shred of empathy, stand for the most inhumane policies because, I don't know, their daddy told them so. Their boyfriend told them not to be a snowflake, and so this type of policy that actively hurts people is justified. But because these people have never thought for themselves, ever, they don't have their own thoughts. They're just effectively a parrot for what their daddy and their boyfriend told them was smart.
Usually they have extreme empathy for one specific thing and ignore pretty much everything else, even if other things are ruined because of it. They will prevent babies from getting to the hospital just because it's justified, because their cause is just that much more important than everything else.
They, as a person, may be empathetic, but because the platforms that they have digested and were told to them leave no room for empathy, they're left scrambling for some safe outlet that they can't get called a snowflake for. And so what do they land on? What do they become extremely passionate, extremely empathetic about? Animal rights. In the doctrine that they were told, they just have nowhere to put their empathy, and so they end up just projecting it all on how animals are treated. And
It's typically because animals are considered pure and cannot be evil according to them.
instead of people. And this leads to the type of person who is more upset when a dog dies in a movie or a dog is shot than if it happens to a real person. I think their deep emotional passion for the health and well-being of animals is just their internal, maybe empathy brain just screaming for a way to be empathetic, because it's the only outlet for empathy that is safe and doesn't go against the policies that their daddy told them, and is also considered feminine as an added bonus.
I'm pretty sure being felt as part of a community is part of it as well, because if they're part of that group, it's such an intense and strong connection, right? They finally feel a sense of belonging there. That also makes it harder for them to have any contradicting opinion other than the main accepted points. I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty. And because animals are seen as pure, there's no wiggle room for someone that doesn't support animals and actively injures them. Just look at the Hassan shocking his dog situation. He said some pretty polarizing and vile stuff, but even in that, people can find some sort of wiggle room and, dismiss it. Because, oh, this side could be evil, this could be bad. But with mistreating animals, it's black and white. You're either a good person or you're not.
I have a hot take. I don't know if you guys are gonna like it. I'm not rage baiting, this is what I think. I think it is weird that you guys care more about animals than people. When people's main cause is animal rights, when the world is doing so bad with human rights, I think it's weird. I think it's really weird. And this started for me when Ellen DeGeneres, 15 years ago, Ellen was always so talking about animals as her philanthropy. And I was like, wow, she has so much money. She could just solve homelessness in a state. And she's like, but what about the cats? Listen, animals deserve good treatment, sure. But to me, I just don't think that's where we should be focusing our time and effort. And so I've been seeing this Hassan Piker stuff where people are saying that he's abusing his dog because he had a shock collar on his dog, which apparently he didn't even have a shock collar on his dog.
He definitely had a shock collar on his dog.
But you guys are up in arms about that because I think it's just because people don't like to have a polarizing opinion, and people opinions are much harder to get by everyone else, and like everyone can say, and like animals is a good cause. I just think you guys are weird. I just think it's a weird thing to focus your time and energy on when like your neighbors don't have food.
Personally, I think you can care about what you want to care about. I don't really care if you care about animals more than humans, but I do find it kind of weird that you treat animals with such care and such compassion, but you don't give a shit about humans. Like, the argument is that animals are innocent, people are not. But then these same type of people don't care about babies or little kids. They just imagine them as a potential evil in the future. Also, there was this channel I used to watch called Bart and Geo around 10 years ago. And before they had kids, they were always like, oh, our dogs are our kids, our dogs are the most important things in the world. And then after they had a kid, they specifically said, yeah, that was wrong. We would 100% pick our kid over the dog any day. I'm sure if you asked any parent that, they would also say the same thing. Giving food to the homeless person's dog but not the person. Yeah, that just doesn't make sense, huh? I've heard a lot of times that people actually feel bad for the dog because they're having to live like a shittier life, but they completely ignore the person. Like, where does your empathy go then? Black people have been saying this for years. Around 90,000 likes. Oh really? The humanization of dogs while simultaneously speaking ill of children angers me to no end. It's so evil to see people's disdain for children and view dogs as a child. You know what's really funny? Seeing someone walking around with a pram, and then when you look inside, you're expecting like a little baby, right? But it's actually a dog. Like, that is so weird to me. I think this next clip perfectly shows why a lot of people don't really like activists that much.
Have you seen it, Jamie? Pull it up, because it's bananas.
This climate change activist had nothing to say when confronted with the truth.
We could set the way for the whole planet by committing to stopping oil.
The problem I have is this idea that the one group of people have decided that they are the ones to save the world. And there's a certain po-faced, incredibly irritated, I'm getting it coming off in waves towards me here, like, how dare you question us because...
You can just tell by her face that she is so angry that she is being questioned.
We know what's right. I'm going to glue my hand to some tarmac and then I'm going to be a martyr and I'm going to be a good person. While the rest of us can't get on with our day. I'm more...
And I'm pretty sure this is just a way for them to feel like they're better than other people in some sort of way. It increases their status in the social hierarchy of activists, I guess. Like, they refuse to play the money game. They refuse to play the social hierarchy game that's, you know, the default in the world. And they get rewarded for shitting on the current system and pointing out its flaws. And the more extreme they are, the more virtuous they're seen. Like the girl that threw soap at a painting, she gets a higher status in her activist group. Greta Thunberg, this person's on TV, so she's being seen as a leader in their group.
More than twice her age. You know, I've got kids, I've got a job, I've got an elderly mother. We have to get on with our lives. I can't afford an electric car. It's about ego. There's no doubt that we've had a winter without any protests, but as soon as the sun comes out, oh, it's eco-festival time. And it is a festival. Let's get on social media. Let's sit down with a placard. Let's advertise to my friends what a great person I am. While the rest, ordinary people who have to go to work...
Yeah, they completely disregard ordinary people and what they're going through. And then when you try to bring up valid points, they make faces like this and stop listening to you, and sometimes even yell over you. Even if you try reasoning with them and being logical, they just start talking louder and louder because they think that it's so important that they should just speak over you. If they really wanted to make some positive change, they should be trying to get those people on board rather than speaking over them and trying to do it by force. Watch her breathing body language. She's seething. She's spot on. Eco gobshites. That woman spoke for 95% of people on the planet. So those were some things about activists that don't make sense to me. Let me know what you think about the video in the comments. And YouTube thinks you like this video next.